Hi. I've been thinking more about, Sylvia Plath and her writing, and I don't know. I feel like with the question of why did Sylvia Plath make the bell jar so dark, like why did she let it sink into these shadows, every word tugging deeper? Maybe that's how life feels when everything around you just starts to break down. Because, I don't know, maybe that's the truth. Plath needed to capture it. New York, it's the city of dreams. But to me, it's this vast, impersonal place where I feel even more isolated. The lights, the crowded streets, they don't comfort me. They just show me how invisible I am. And I think Plath wrote New York this way on purpose, I think. Because it's a mirror. It reflects my mind back at me, empty, distant, trapped. And if the bell jar has been told from somebody else's point of view, all those layers of isolation, the sense that Esther's thoughts are getting darker and darker, they'd be lost. You'd see her, but not feel what she feels. It wouldn't be the same. The city doesn't change. It doesn't comfort. It's like a silent witness, watching everything I go through, and it's almost cruel, as if it knows what I'm suffering and it just keeps watching, indifferent. Sylvia Plath used New York as an antagonist, trapping me in a place that highlights how unimportant I feel. And again, the 1950s, it's an era with strict rules about women in society. It's like a prison. This book wouldn't nearly be as dark as if it was set now, because back then there was no language for this. There was no way of admitting to feel wrong. It makes every moment heavier, every glance from society harder. Plath knew that this time period would make Esther's descent feel inevitable. And if the story had happened in another era, maybe someone would understand her, reached out or something. But back then, everyone just thought she was strange, that she needed to fix into this box that could never contain her. And that's the part that drives her darker thoughts, feeling like there's no way out. There's just no language to explain that pain. And then there's the hotel room and the magazine office. These are just, they're supposed to show glamorous and just high-end, the dream. But to me, they're prisons. Again, the hotel room with sterile decor, and yet it still feels hollow. I'm supposed to feel important there, but instead, I just feel empty. In the magazine office, it's full of people who know who they are while I'm unraveling. These places are more than just rooms. They reflect what's going on in my mind. Sylvia Plath used these sterile, intimidating spaces as symbols for my isolation and my feeling of being fundamentally different from everyone else. If these places have been warm and welcoming, well, the book's tone wouldn't be so dark. And Esther's, my thoughts, wouldn't feel so inescapable. But with everybody in the bell jar, I feel like they just speak with such polished languages, full of fake kindness and empty sayings. People say, cheer up, it could be worse. But these are such hollow phrases. This colloquial way people talk, it's just a part of the setting. As the cold hotel room and crowded streets, I think Plath forced, I don't know, she used this language to show how everyone else fits in. A reminder of how I'll never belong. It's a language that alienated me even more. Adding to the loneliness, making me feel like I'm trapped in a world where I can't speak the same language. And again, New York, the hotel, the office, they're all just silent witnesses. They see everything I'm going through, but they don't intervene. The city itself becomes an antagonist, pushing me further down, reminding me that I'm just one person among millions. It's like it's just rooting for me to fail. The setting, the time period. Again, these prisons, they trap me, reflecting everything dark and painful inside of me. And that's why the book's so dark, too. I think Plath knew that sometimes the world just feels like it's against you. Like you're trapped in a place that watches you struggle and does nothing. And if this story was told from someone else's view, maybe it wouldn't be so dark. Maybe you'd see a young woman struggling and think she just needed help, a friend. But when it's in my voice, you feel it. You feel, you see how it all falls apart. And maybe that's the only way you'd understand. So here I am in this, world that's alive but doesn't care. Trapped in an era that wants me to be perfect but offers no way out. And all I can ask myself over and over again, what's wrong with me?